on to the marathon, there's just a couple of little things I was asked to mention before we sort of get into it properly. So, you know we have two places through the club's ballot. In order to be eligible for a club ballot place, you have to have entered the public ballot, which opened on Saturday the 20th, and it closes on this Friday at 9 o'clock. So you've got to have entered the main ballot, to be able to be eligible for our ballot. So Friday's a deadline, so don't delay. And also to mention, we have another club place through the baggage lorries. So those that help out on the baggage, it earns us a place on in the marathon. And I spoke with, or had a few comments from Keith, who organises the baggage team, because they have a really intensive day. They start about 9:30 down at the mall. When the lorries arrive, they've got all the sorting to do, and then they're there till about 5:30 at night. So it's a long day, but it's a great fun day. They have a lot of fun. Great to sort of chat with all the runners as they come in, hearing the good stories and the bad stories. But there's a lot of commitment from the club doing that. So just wanted to mention a big thank you to all those that volunteer for the baggage, and those that were out on the day just supporting generally. So it's a real appreciation from all the club.
Before we started, and tonight's about London, I just really wanted to comment on how great it is to see a resurgence in marathon running in the club. There's a lot of people involved now, thinking about people doing Abbott's Majors, thinking about the track sessions that both Finton and Ashley through our paces, thinking you can always come down day or night, Norman Park, do some laps. You're always going to bump into Finton, but quite often you're going to bump into many others now, and we're very supportive in terms of the laps that we're doing, but it's really good to see that kind of resurgence. And just tonight's about London, but I just wanted to comment that in the spring already we had 6 runners in Tokyo, so myself, Will Brindley getting his 6th Abbott's Major, I think Steve Clareman, Matt Maddox and Dylan Mitchard. We then had Matt Maddox going again in Paris. Paul Sharp over there in Milan. Paul Perigiato in Brighton. And Greg Luger. And we should call out Jason Mears in Manchester, who knocked a very small 17 minutes off his PB. And then we can talk about London Week. And we had 3 runners in Boston. We had Trang Nguyen, Francois Berrier and Greg Firth. More about Trang later. But no, I think that just goes to show that it's not all about London, but just to see the strength of marathon running across the club. And then briefly, I just wanted to touch, and we talked about the baggage. I was really grateful because I was allocated the baggage place this year. But just to recognise how across the whole of the London Marathon the club's represented, supporters on the course, the baggage lorry, those involved in coaching the mini marathon. I walked into the expo and someone said, "Oh, Blackheath, do you know Dick Griffin?" It's across the club, so I'd just like to say a round of applause for everybody involved. So, should we hear some stories from the marathon then? I think there's only one place to start, and I think, I might be wrong, but I think I'm right. This is the first time we've had a president on the start line at Blackheath since Dick Griffin himself. So, Ashley.
Well, this will be quite short because it wasn't the good day I was hoping for. I had run 3:05 last year, which I was absolutely delighted with, and I was hoping to get, if not close to that, a little bit quicker, maybe just to go under 3 hours a little bit. So training had been going really well this year, everything was good, running quicker, feeling stronger, but I just didn't have the day I was hoping for. I just felt, after about sort of 6 or 7 Ks, I just didn't feel the energy was there. It was just draining really quickly. So for whatever happened, it didn't happen for me, but I'm actually really proud of Sunday, getting round on Sunday, because it's easy to do it when you're feeling good and everything's working, it's fine. It's easy just to keep going. The crowds will take you round happily, you know. But when it's not going well, you've lost the time you're chasing, and it's all going horribly wrong. It's a real struggle to make yourself just keep putting one foot in front of the other to get to the finish. So I was proud of myself for doing that. And I kept trying to, like, the times had gone to, like, right, just enjoy the day, enjoy the crowds, which was good. It was really good, but it's so noisy that, you know, this year, it's just this wall of noise. When you go past like a charity section, it's just a wall of noise, and it's really intensive. It's really blows your head off, I think. But I did enjoy it. So I was bitterly disappointed with the end result, but I had enjoyed the day. I had enjoyed being part of Blackheath. You know, the supporters on the crowd were great as ever. And knowing that I would be here tonight was something that kept me going. I've got to get my medal. To be there. Otherwise I wouldn't have been allowed in. So yeah, so it wasn't the best day, but I'm sure there'll be others. So.
I had the pleasure to run with Ashley for I don't know how long.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I thought if I could catch up with Ashley, I was doing really well.
So then I thought we'd hear from those who had club places this year. So starting with myself, as I said, thank you to the baggage team for my place. I had a difficult few months personally, which I'll let Anita talk about later, but training hadn't been great going into Tokyo, but I decided off the back of a good run in Tokyo, I thought I'd give it a go at London and really go for it. I absolutely loved the run. The weather was great, a little bit windy, but it was a really sunny day. The crowds were just epic. You might have seen the photos. I probably overdid the showboat a bit. And I did want to say a special thank you to the Harry Schmidt Supporters Club who were cheering me along the way. So thank you. But I had a pretty good day. It hurt a lot in the last 10k. I was really digging in. Probably had a bit of Tokyo in my legs, but absolutely thrilled. I ran a 3:11, which was the third best for me, and I was really delighted. Now the other two club places were two debutants at the marathon, so I think first we should hear from Harry Schmidt himself.
Yeah, thanks guys. I just want to say thank you to the club and everyone for the opportunity to run the marathon. Obviously I won one of the baggage places, which was brilliant. And yeah, I just want to thank Fitness Guys on the Tuesday night. You know, some excellent training there, really supportive, lots of encouragement going down on them sessions. So yeah, turned up most weeks for that. That was really good. I want to thank Steve, Damien, and Matt especially for the Sunday long runs. Like really, yeah, put in some really good hard work there. Done some long runs and runs that I've never thought I'd be able to do. So that was fantastic. I want to thank special thanks to Will Brindley as well for the countless long emails, lots of detail, everything that I needed to do on the day. And I took it to bed with me at night and read it. And it was yeah, it was fantastic. And you know, I remembered it all for the day as well. So that was fantastic. And then yeah,
Not under 8 minute miles, I said.
not under. Yeah. And then obviously moving on to the day itself. So yeah, very nervous on the day. First marathon. Never run a marathon before. Didn't really know what to expect other than what I'd been told by obviously some of the support that I had. And yeah, it was all very nervous up until the start time, running through the start line. So, and then I was like, wow, I'm running the London Marathon, and it was just a fantastic experience. I remember looking down at my watch, and it was like 7:30 pace, and it felt comfortable. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to hold it. So and that's what I've done the whole way. I got to mile 18, I felt a bit sluggish, but I carried on. I think mile 19 or 20, I felt my first blisters pop. that hurt. But yeah, I was just taking the gels and listening to all the advice. It was all going on in my head, and got to mile 25, and my right leg started spasming, but managed to stretch it whilst holding the pace. And then yeah, run 3:19 and 14 seconds. So really chuffed with that.
And then our other debutant over there, Tom Desborough.
start, I'll echo a few things that have been said already about the people who were on the course. There was so many heathens all the way through. I think I saw people who I hadn't seen for a long time, people who hadn't run for the club a long time, sort of like Will Fuller, Richard Webb. And you got internationals like Bailey Sick and Sam Reardon giving you a shout. Phil Sessman, after he'd stopped his pacemaking, would give you a shout. It was lots of little things like that. But I mean, this month was 10 years ago to this month that I ran my 7th and final mini marathon, which was, it's hard to think about because some people will always sort of joke that I probably ran Saturday and Sunday this year, which is Tim Ayres, who isn't here, will make that joke immediately after seeing me on Sunday, so that was good fun. But I'd probably start to like to thank Nick Barber, who isn't here, and Johnny Turner, who is here, who drew my number out on the day on the Christmas Wednesday nighters, who, for those of you who were here, would have seen my sort of mixed reaction to getting the draw, something that I've always wanted to do since my final mini marathon, to step up to the big distance. I had entered the ballot every single year since then and been unsuccessful. Then once the club places came around, I had other things come in the way, sort of university, a pandemic, everything else. Once the one came around for December this year, I'd finished my final year at university, going back to do a master's a couple of years later than you'd expect, and had no real excuse other than I wasn't as fit as I'd like to have been. Apart from running cross country every season, I hadn't trained hard. I hadn't been out on the track to do a training session since February 2020. So to get drawn into that gave me a nice big boost to sort of give me a reason to get running again. And once we hit January, joining that group that, as Harry said already, the Tuesday nighters since January that I've come back to has been amazing. There's been at least 5 or 6 in a good fast group, then 5 or 6 in a medium sort of group, and then any sort of effort level you're looking for, there is something for you on a Tuesday night down here now, which I haven't seen. For someone who has been here for a long time, I know lots of people have been here longer, but have been down here on a Tuesday night a long time, and seeing that sort of group again is great to see. But getting to the day itself, I felt I'd put a good block together. I was hoping for something that maybe was, in hindsight, a little bit ambitious. I mean, coming January-wise, I was telling people I was hoping to just get round in 3 hours, enjoy the day, but every sort of month of good training, 250 is quite possible. 255, 245. And by the day, I had sort of put the training together to think, 245 is quite possible. So that was the pace I'd set off at. I was very lucky to have 2 experienced marathon runners with me, with Luca and Gareth on the start line, who were able to sort of calm any nerves I had. Obviously, the weather was quite nice, albeit a bit cold for me on the morning. I kept the jumper on as long as I could and had the arm warmers on as well the whole way around, which I was thankful for in the latter miles. But we set off at the pace. I hit mile 1, bang on, was on the pace all the way through, had former club member Danny Brewer come past me at mile 4, abused me for my lack of hair that is sort of fading on the back of the head, which, as you people who know Danny Brewer, is quite expected of him. And as that went on, sort of kept hitting the pace, seeing the people I've already mentioned. Family were based around mile 9. I know someone's actually mentioned already about the crowds being quite heavy this year. Mile 9 is somewhere where I sort of discovered a few years ago, where it was on the tube, sort of very easy to get to from Canada Water. You can move down the course. Not a lot of people discovered it this year. It was very hectic by the time even we'd gone through, so I can't even imagine for those after that. Must have been, ridiculous. But spotted the parents, sort of lifted me up, had Kevin come past me, who I know will tell his story a bit. That was quite nice to give me a little boost. But it's also a mixture of knowing what their sort of times he was targeting. I might have slowed down a little bit. So I got to about halfway, bang on, still feeling really good, but sort of worrying in my head that I'm a little bit mentally fatigued, feeling a bit more than I was hoping to at that time. And that sort of slowed down, got through a very tricky period of mod shoot in Canary Wharf. And it was just after that where I passed, I think, Alex Gibbons and Bailey Stickins the second time. Steve Pearman was out there as well, that I realised, this is not going to hold, mentally fatiguing. And it was that little drop after you come out of Canary Wharf, got Billingsgate on your left, the quad gave way, and after that it was a case of trying to manage it, managed it for about a mile, and then it was a case of, I need to stop, I need to stretch. And after that, the time was gone. I'd stopped looking at the watch and just sort of try to carry myself home. But I know, as you say, the crowds will try and lift you home. But when you are struggling, when people are coming past you, it's kind of the last thing you want. People say, you can do it. It's like, I really can't. I'm really struggling. But I got myself going again, 2k to go. Was able to drag myself home. Luckily had the parents with about 600 metres to go, which is where we would always stand after the mini marathon, which was a nice little lift to the end. And it wasn't until I hit the roundabout at Buckingham Palace, I looked at my watch again, see it hit 2:59 dead. It's like, I'm not going to do 400 metres in a minute. Time is gone. And I try to embrace the crowds, enjoy it through the line. And just looking down, 3 hours and 30 seconds is what I finished in. Which for a debut I know is good, but it's going to take me a little while to accept that and embrace that for how good that is. But I did have a little cry for about 30 seconds. I did have a good bit of advice that after you finish your first marathon, you're meant to take a minute for yourself, take it in and enjoy it, but that was probably the worst thing I could have done because I let the emotion get the better of me. So no, get down, get your bag, go see people, accept it. So for the day, I did enjoy it, but there's a lot more to come. There's a lot better of me to come, so I'm looking forward to it.
So then I thought we'd switch and talk about some performances from the women in the club. I mean, the first is an absolute standout, Jess Keane, running her first marathon, I believe, and came home in 2 hours 58, which I think is second fastest female time in the marathon in the club's history.
So she took, I think she took 10 minutes for the last 800.
Wow.
Yeah, so she was in a bad way at the end, so she was in an ambulance for an hour. So, but she's fine now, and yeah, great debut, but yeah, she's sort of a 250 girl with it, so it's very impressive.
Then next up, I think, is Trang. Do you want to say a few words? So, 6 days after Boston, I think, is where we start.
Oh my gosh. So I did something crazy this year, and I ran 2 marathons within 6 days. The first was Boston, and then the second was London. Obviously, I love London. This is not my first time, so I knew that I would have a great time. I thought London would just be a fun day. Boston didn't turn out to be as I expected because of the weather, but it's the course and everything was still superb. Then I gave it more in London, knowing that I was fit enough to run 42k after 42k already done 6 days before. So yeah, my highlight was actually when I saw Ashley and running side by side. I knew that this must be going so well because I'm running with Ashley. She's better than
Was
me.
for a bit.
And then I lost sight of you, and I thought you were ahead of me, to be honest. So yes, I did Boston in 3:17 and then London in 3:11. Both of them were satisfactory times, just mainly because I really enjoyed both courses. And I would like to thank, obviously, the Tuesday track that made a huge difference to my running. I've never ever done track in my life. I even bought a new pair of track shoes with spikes, they say, whatever that sharp things are. So I'm learning bit by bit, and then that really made a difference to my running. So thank you to all that helped me get used to the joy of running through pain. Thank you all.
And now someone who's a bit of an inspiration to me, Anita.
Well, I haven't got loads to say. I did the marathon for my dad really because he died before Christmas, and I wasn't going to do it again this year because I thought, oh no, I can't manage it. But I thought I sort of signed up when Steve got a place, and that around that time I thought I'm going to sign up. So I signed up, and I do love the London Marathon. I've done 3 on the course, and I will have 6 medals because I've done virtual ones as well. So it's the only marathon that I will do. I won't do anything else. Don't want to. So that's it. That's all I'll do. But yeah, for me, it was my second best time on the course, so I was pleased with that. 5-minute improvement on like my last sort of couple of attempts, so I was pleased with that. Training was harder for me this year as well because I did it all on my own. I couldn't find anyone who was quite my pace, so I had to just go it alone. I fell over flat on the pavement, which kind of didn't help at mile 18 one point on Bourne Vale, and Clapston was making a right scene, and some poor lady with a buggy stopped and helped me. Luckily I was okay, but it gave me a bit of a shock. So yeah, overall I'm really pleased with what I did, and I didn't hit any walls or anything, which I have done before, so I just like did it. And we're very congested though this year, I'd say, for the people in the masses. So, and I was in that section, much more congested than it's ever been. So I don't know whether there was more people doing it and that kind of thing. But yeah, I love the London Marathon. So, and I'm grateful to everyone who has sponsored me in the club and supported me. So thank you.
I just add, we were really touched by the people who sponsored. Anita raised over £2,000 for the asthma and lung. Thank you. So turning to the men, I think there's only one place to start, and that's with Finton.
I said before, I think... I've got to go there, mate.
Yeah, talk louder.
Talk louder. Okay, I'll try and talk louder. I think London Marathon can be either the best or worst day if you're running a marathon. Last year, I did my first marathon, I think in about 5 years. I ran 2:40 with a change. Had a terrible day. Hip was really bad, and when everyone talks about the crowd being really, really good and getting you on, I can tell you when you're mile 23 and your hip's giving up and you're trying to stretch it out and there's about 1,000 people urging you on, you don't quite feel so empowered to go and do it. This year was a little bit different. Training went really well. We have a great group, and it's nice to, again, many people have said, the Tuesday nights around the track have been super positive. I think that's one big thing that I've taken away over the last few months. Super encouraging to see so many people out on the Tuesday, everyone doing the sessions, lots of advice, lots of sharing of opinions about what to do, what not to do, and it's really encouraging to see so many people kind of flourishing and coming along within their marathon, as Steve alluded to earlier. So on the race day itself, went really well, had a good training block. I ran the most miles that I've done forever, over 100 miles a week for a few weeks, so that went really well, no injuries. Slight little scare before the race for my back, but I managed to navigate that with some paracetamol and some Nurofen and the likes. Race day went well. Many people have said it was windy, it was cold, but it was okay. So yeah, managed to get through unscathed. 2:34.54. So.
20th in your age group?
20th in my old man age group. I will take that for now, but there's more to come. But I think for me the most encouraging thing is the Tuesday night session with everyone, getting more and more people into those Tuesday nights in the club, super encouraging, and the sharing of all of our knowledge, marathon wealth of knowledge, and Norman Park laps as well, because we know everyone likes Norman Park laps. We all like that.
And just behind Finton, we had Michael.
Yeah, so I had a championship start this year, so about, if you watch the iPlayer highlights, about 12 seconds after the elites go off, you'll see me at the bottom of the screen, which is cool, although the queues for the toilets were still well long. So yeah, my target was sub 2:35, I ran 2:36 and 2 seconds, which when I got the text through from London Marathon, I was like proper mad. 3 seconds. No, but like it went well. I was in a group running with people at a good pace, probably up until Poplar High Street, my old stomping ground. And then I lost the group, went on, dropped off the pace by 5, 6, 7 seconds when I had it in me to run quicker, and then finished well. But yeah, by the time it's over, you can't do anything about those 3 seconds, unfortunately. So I'll have to go back next year. But yeah, it was a good day. Like, it was brilliant training with everyone. As Finton said, like, it's been great seeing so many people down on a Tuesday night, and like a really good group of people. Like, people running some really good times over like 5k, 10k, the marathon, and stuff. So it's really nice to kind of see a bit of momentum building with the team and the squad. And I think just something else, not really marathon related, but we were also able to qualify from the Southern 12-stage road relays, for the national 12-stage road relays at Sutton Park, Birmingham, which I don't think we've done, certainly not in my time here, maybe for like 5-6 years or something. So I think that shows that we've got a good kind of strength in depth coming up. So yeah, that was the marathon really for me. I was like, ran a good race, was pleased with a 2.5 minute PB. Disappointed not to get the time I wanted, but it's not that deep, so it's cool.
We then had Sam Douglas, who ran in 2 hours 38, followed by Luca.
I'm not sure quite what to say about my race. I spent most of the winter sort of nursing injury I picked up from trying to be younger in my age on the track last summer, which picked up an injury which was most people have heard, and I basically nursed that throughout the winter. And so coming into beginning of January, I thought, okay, well, it's time to get sort of knuckle down and start nursing, getting the mileage down, getting the training in, and in the end I got into a stubborn kind of, okay, just stick to a program, follow the program, and even though I did go to the track, I also then stopped going to the track because I knew I couldn't do what the track people were doing, so I did it on my own. And I'm still very grateful you posted everything, because I still went out and did that on my own to try and keep things, but at the same time keeping it within what I could do because I knew of my injury. So coming to the big day, I kind of thought, okay, what can I do today? What can I actually manage? So I just picked a number out of so just like, okay, 4K pace, let's just see what I can do. And just I don't know, I just kind of set that dial in my head, kept on using the watch to remind myself don't go too quick, don't slow down, just stay on that 4K. So the whole race was, I didn't actually notice anything other than my watch, the noises, the different smells, the kind of sounds of London, the vibe, that kind of just carried my legs, my energy through to the end. And it really didn't start to, the pain didn't really kick in until the obvious stages. So when you get to the embankment, that's when I kind of thought, oh, okay, things are starting to break down. And by then I knew, after doing it a few times, you know that you've only got a little bit left. All you have to do is break down the whole course into segments, and at that stage you've only got a little bit left to do, and somehow you just keep things ticking over, and then you get to that roundabout where you take that right, and once you see the finish line you just think, okay, just whatever's left, just push on through to the end. And when you get over that line, you think you're just relieved. You're just relieved that you've done what you can on the day. And the time wasn't really an issue. It was just more the satisfaction of doing it and kind of achieving another London, which is, again, I think this year was particularly, there was something extra special this year. I don't know what it was, but I don't think it was necessarily what I'd done with myself. I think it seemed there was a bit more of a vibe there. So yeah, relieved, got over that line, looked down the time, I thought, oh, okay, that wasn't what I was expecting. I achieved my second the second best PB with 2:48. And then when the official times came through, which I was sort of, because one thing that I don't realise, which I suppose is getting older, you don't realise you're getting older, but you do get older. Like you're training with people who are much younger than you, and you're always comparing yourself with who you train with. And when I saw my actual age-related result, I thought, actually, I'm actually doing all right. I'm actually not doing too bad. And so with that, I was 45th quickest in my age range. So you know, not as good as so 48's all right. There's still quicker time there at some point. You know, get it all right. So yeah, that's it. That's me.
Kevin Finney.
Go on, Kev. So this was quite an exciting one for me. This is my first race in a Blackheath and Bromley kit across the marathon. So I did it for Harrow last year. Love Harrow as a club. Not nearly as many members, so it was amazing running around. Loads of people who I didn't know shouting, "Come on, Blackheath, come on, up the heath." I was like, "Yeah, come on, guys, come on! I have no idea who you are." A few things to call out for me. One, Tuesday night session. So this year I've run PBs of a 5K, 10K, arguably a short park run, but still park run, half marathon, 30K, 25K probably, marathon. That's because I've done 40 of the last 50 Tuesday night sessions. So massive thanks to Finton. Everyone who turns up makes a huge difference. You know, when it's absolutely pouring rain, Tuesday night, my office sort of plugging away, I can either, not run, or I can go down and, absolutely kill myself, and that's what I'm doing. So thank you guys. Race itself, I had a really ambitious target, sub 240, going in with a 247 PB. And for like 22 miles, I was like, I am so good at running. Like, I am going to like destroy this. And I got to 22, and I was passing people who were like not looking good, falling back, and I was like, they don't know how to pace. They don't know how to pace like I know how to pace. And the last 4 miles, oh my God, I paid for it. I paid for it so bad. 2:43, happy with that, 4-minute PB. Next year, gonna give it another go. More mileage, get back out there. But yeah, thank you everyone.
And just to call out a couple who aren't here, so we had Gareth Evans, who I did see at the start with Tom and with Luca, who ran 2:54, and Johnny Cleary, who ran 3 hours 3. And then next is one of my training buddies, Damien Hayes.
I can still run.
Evening everybody, how we doing? We alright? Time's a bonus ball? Right, okay, I'm going to say just a little bit about my story, my little story. Sunday was my 9th London Marathon. My first one was way back in 1996, 28 years ago.
Year of Gascoigne.
Year of Gascoigne, Euros and stuff like that. But for the first 20 years when I tried to run, I was just running on my own, didn't have a clue what I was doing. I was lucky enough to join a company where I met a chap called Andy Kingsmill and another chap called Pat Cownan. And they told me about this club. Why don't you come and join us? If you're going out running, why don't you come and join us? Come down to Blackheath. So basically I joined the club in 2016 with the Wednesday Nighters. And I remember those first few weeks, Tim Ayres on his Wednesday nights and his intervals, Luca was there, so many of us were there, and that really got me into the running. And I remember when I did my first marathon after joining the club, I took about 45 minutes off my marathon pace. I've done nowhere compared to anyone in this room, but I've done 15 marathons, I've done 9 Londons now, and I'm quite happy with that. Fast forward until Sunday, and I've had a few ups and downs in terms of my training over the last few years, both physically and mentally, but I've been lucky enough to have a lot of good people in this room that have provided me with so much support and encouragement. It's been unbelievable. People like Steve, people like Matt, people like Will, people like Steve Pearman. There's so many people in this room, Matt Maddox over there as well, always got a word to say, whether it's Luca's got a word to say, Clayton's over there, Paul Sharp, they'll just say something and it just spurs me on and it just keeps me going. And that culminated in Sunday, where I decided for some reason I was going to try and run a PB, you know, and all right, I might be not at your level, but I'm trying. But on Sunday, my PB previously was 3:19, and on Sunday I managed to get 3:16. So, that would not have been possible without the support and the encouragement that I get from so many people in this room, and I absolutely love it. So thank you very much, and we're going for 3:10 next year. I'm going to put it down.
I was Steve, Ryan Weston ran 2:37.20 as well. Well done, Ryan.
And then finally on the list is Tim Nash, who ran 3:31. Very respectable time. He can't be with us tonight. I think, just to round it up, I think I'll just go back to where I started. You know, there's a real resurgence of marathon running in this club, and I think all of us are looking at PBs in the next 12 months.
December, yeah.
Let's go for it then. So thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
Done.